Red Hair Shanks' name originated from a boat anchor where Shanks is the central component of the anchor. It is also possible that Ichiro Oda was influenced by slave traders, as in the early 1600s, ships from Leith and Port Glasgow in Scotland sailed off to the colonies loaded with Scottish people that had been rounded up to be sold. There was an estimated of 25,000 slaves in Barbados, of whom 21,700 were white. The fair-skinned slaves were known as red legs or red shanks by the locals because of their sunburned flesh. So it is also possible that Red Hair Shanks' name might have been influenced by this concept. And for all of you people that are into nerd culture, Shanks is also used as being a word for the bottom of a leg or shin area, and it's also used to describe a makeshift knife to I'm gonna shank you mate, I'm gonna shank someone, to which also became a general term for stabbing someone. Shanks' character conception and illustration had some changes before his final design. Obviously, Shanks was initially featured in the first pilot of One Piece Romance Dawn V1 in the Shonen Jump specials, showcasing upcoming artists, which was about a year and a half before One Piece actually began. Much of Shanks' storyline remained the same, however in the pilot Shanks' arm was bitten off by a shark instead of a Sea King, due to Oda coming up with the idea of the Sea King later. Although Shanks' arm was bitten off, it wasn't always like that. Originally, Oda had no intention of Shanks losing his left arm, but after his editor told him that the story wasn't interesting enough, Oda decided to screw Shanks over by taking off his arm. In the second pilot Romance Dawn V2 of One Piece, Luffy got both his straw hat and the devil fruit he ate from his grandfather instead of Shanks. According to Oda, the reason for not featuring Shanks was that he wanted Shanks to be kept a secret until One Piece was serialized so he would have a greater impact. The only adjustment in Shanks' design from the first pilot to the final version was the pretty minor few change of art style and the lack of his black cape. Although Shanks' power isn't really explored much, we know that he is Yonkou level and someone not to be trifled with, right? However, throughout One Piece we are shown that Shanks can utilize all three types of haki, and he has great mastery over it. In fact, Shanks was the first character to demonstrate any form of haki within One Piece when he used the Conqueror's haki, Hawashoku no haki, to scare away the Sea King after losing his arm. We then see the immense power of his haki when he entered Whitebeard's ship. The power of his Conqueror's haki is said to be so strong that Oda mentioned in his SBS question and answer that he could have knocked out all 100,000 pirates and fishmen opposing the Straw Hats during the Fishman Island arc with his Hawashoku no haki alone, which Luffy only managed to overwhelm 50,000. So some interpret this to include Hody himself. Shanks' use of the observation haki, Kenbunshoku haki, hopefully I pronounced that right, also known as mantra, isn't really revealed much, but again during Shanks' encounter with Whitebeard, when Whitebeard threw his giant sake bottle at him, Shanks was able to foresee it and dodge it, but some still say this was just his awesome reaction and not his haki. Also, in One Piece Pirate Warriors 3, the video game, Shanks can use the observation haki as a unique action, although in the game it's not really canon. Shanks also demonstrated an immense mastery of the Bosuku Shoku no haki, the armament haki, hopefully I pronounced that right again, when he clashed swords with Whitebeard. The force generated from the clash of their weapons split the sky and clouds above them, suggesting that the inconceivable amount of haki that the two Yonkou had imbued into their strikes. Guys, we also have to remember that Whitebeard used both his hands during that clash, while Shanks only used one. We also see Shanks use his imbued armament haki when he blocked Akainu's magma attack with his sword, showing he has no problems fighting Logia Devil Fruit users, which means this guy is pretty freaking powerful. Shanks is usually portrayed as a swordsman. Shanks' sword is a large saber with a single edge blade and a large hand guard. At one point, Shanks wielded two different swords during his time as an apprentice pirate aboard the Goldie Roger ship and during his stay in Luffy's hometown. He appears to have favoured his left arm before he lost it however, as he is always seen holding his sword in his left hand during flashbacks. In fact, before the loss of his dominant arm, Shanks' swordsmanship was said to be on the par with his rival Dracule Mihawk, who is known as the greatest swordsman in the world. But even with one arm, Shanks is still very capable with his sword. As mentioned previously, he matched Whitebeard and Akainu with the swing of his sword. The topic of the scar on Shanks' left eye was a huge discussion within the One Piece community. After the reveal in chapter 434 or episode 316 that the scar was given to him by Blackbeard while he was still part of the Whitebeard's crew, and that's when Blackbeard had his Wolverine claws to fight. Fans speculated that Shanks got his scar during his time with the Pirate King, as Roger and Whitebeard had a couple of bouts. As in chapter 0 Strong World, in the beginning, young Shanks resembling Luffy is seen without his scar. This was wild because he was in Roger's ship, but Oda decided to hide Shanks' face at Roger's execution. He is crying with the straw hat in front of his eyes. The only later time we see a younger Shanks is when he recruits Yasop, and once again his left eye is covered. Another reasoning behind Shanks getting his scar whilst being in Roger's crew is that because if you notice the flag of red-haired pirates in chapter 1 or episode 1, the flag already has a scar, suggesting he had his scar before even creating his own crew. Makino, the bartender from Luffy's hometown in Fuchsia Village, is rumoured to be Shanks' lover. Shanks' initial goal for him was going to East Blue, considered as the weakest sea was to find the strong individuals who would join his crew. One of them was Usopp's father, the sniper Usopp, but the reason for him to visit Fuchsia Village was said to be because of Makino. Although Shanks was always seen familiar and comfortable with Makino, the rumour started after Oda's illustration of the One Piece chapter 614 cover where Makino is seen with a red-haired baby who Oda later confirmed to be her baby, and in SBS question and answer when asked who is the father of that child, Oda stated that the father of Makino's child is probably that person, leaving us with a rumour and a conspiracy theory. So this child was more than likely conceived during the time skip, hinting that Shanks had to visit Fuchsia Village during that time, and he had a little quickie. In the 4Kids English dub of One Piece, Shanks' character had some censorship with his alcoholic related scenes. For example, the scene where Mihawk brought news of Luffy's progression, Shanks still asked Mihawk to stay, but much of this scene was removed because of the alcoholic references, including references to him throwing a party to celebrate Luffy's achievement. This ended up changing the way Shanks was portrayed into a more of a serious character with bad intentions towards Mihawk, as when Mihawk shows him Luffy's wanted poster, Shanks says that he cannot let him leave, and then the following party was cut off, leaving viewers to assume Mihawk's fate. Other scenes were also cut out where Shanks was seen with alcohol. Shanks has many references outside of One Piece. In the book The Anime Encyclopedia, a guide to Japanese animation since 1917, there was a short article about One Piece. In it, there are two mistakes regarding Shanks' character. His name is written as Junks, and he was written to have been saved by Luffy instead of the other way round. The funny thing is that the mistake of his name was not corrected even after the book was revised. Other references to Shanks is that some real life pirates were caught on video using his Jolly Roger for their flag, and I guess they were truly inspired. Weekly Shonen Jump occasionally organizes popularity polls of One Piece characters and publishes the results, and in the 5th Japanese fan poll, Shanks is ranked 14th most popular character in One Piece, making him the most popular character of the Red Hair Pirates and in the Yonkou. And in the first poll, the contrary happened. Shanks was the 3rd most popular character in the whole of One Piece, where, it's kind of interesting, he became less popular. And you know what, man, you guys know these polls, man. Alright guys, this is a blazing round, try to keep up with me. Shanks shares the same birthday as Frankie and Dracule Mihawk, which is on the 9th of March. Shanks was 27 years old when he made his first appearance in the series, and he is 37 years old later when Luffy set out to sail, and he is 39-year-old in the current timeline. Shanks' Japanese voice actor is Shuichi Akida, who is the famous voice actor for Shah Aznable from Mobile Suit Gundam, hopefully I pronounced that right. And Shanks was capable of swimming 10 years ago, if you guys didn't know that, meaning that he did not consume any devil fruit at that time when he was the rival of Mihawk. Buggy was also invited to be the part of Shanks' crew, but he refused. He instead decided to create his own crew. Another fun fact, in the 4Kids dub of Shanks speaks with a Cockney English accent. He has a Cockney, I'm gonna talk like this, mate. So that's what he talks like. Anyway, Shanks' hair is depicted in a unique manner in black and white in the manga, and with it having a grey shade instead of having coloured black or not coloured at all like every other character. You guys didn't notice that, but now you've noticed it now. It is also assumed that Shanks, along with Buggy and the rest of Roger's crew, knowing the location of One Piece and possible even knowing what One Piece is, however that is debatable. Anyway guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Follow us on social media and what One Piece character you want us to cover next, and check out our other One Piece videos. Thanks for the support and see you guys, bye.